And joining us today in our Book Talk segment, great to welcome a man who's written an interesting book. It's called The Try, and he has had an interesting career himself. Jim Owen joined us by telephone. He's a multi-talented guy. He's an author, film producer, and social innovator. We'll find out what that's all about. And he joined us today from Austin, Texas on the telephone. And Jim, good to talk to you. How are you today?
Thank you, Joe. How are you?
I'm doing great. I had a chance to read through the book the last few days and enjoyed it. And kind of one of those books that you can kind of pick up and read a chapter or two, because you tell these stories of little biographies of people that have overcome some obstacles in their lives. Interesting concept.
They're kind of ordinary people who've done extraordinary things. I wonder, well, how does somebody overcome the odds? How does somebody rise above the crowd? And I think it's a result of not high intelligence, not family connections, not charisma and charm. I think it has more to do with what the cowboys call try, T-R-Y. And that's a word that's probably not familiar to your audience. To most of us, Doug, try is a verb. It means to make an attempt. Mm-hmm. And the cowboys take the verb and turn it into a noun. It's the highest of respect you can pay a cowboy. They'll say, that cowboy, he's got try. That means Doug gives it everything he's got from the bottom of his guts. And there are a few cowboys, if they were to walk into a room with other cowboys, they would say, fellas, here comes, Spike or somebody. He's got the try, T-H-E-T-R. The try is the ultimate. That means 110% effort in whatever he's doing. If the guy is sweeping up floors, chopping wood, there's a focus and intensity about the activity. And I think Americans, America was built around this idea of try. This is how I look at history. Just think about trying to settle the West, or build a railroad, or put a man on the moon, or win a world war. We had try. I think we've sort of losing that idea of try, of hard work, of maximum effort. And this book is an attempt to say, you can't blame your circumstances, you can't blame your parents, you can't blame whatever, the weather. You've got to be the author of your own life story. You got a cowboy up and said, I'm going to set my sights high, and by golly, I'm not going to settle for being just, quote, good. I want to be the best I can be. And that's what try is all about, being the best that you can be, regardless of whether you're... So it's not about making money. Well, I have a radio program. It's going to be the best darn radio program you've ever listened to. That's the idea. And we can only control two things in life. As far as I know, you can control attitude. Nobody can give you a good attitude. You can control your effort, what we call try. And this is a message to people today who are struggling. Nobody's got it easy anymore. Not really. So we're all struggling to some degree or another. But this is about taking ownership of your life, being the best that you can be. Again, it's not about making money. It's about whatever your talents are. And so we've all, you can't change the hand you're dealt. What you can do is make the most of whatever hand you're dealt. And that's the message.
Yeah, and I'll give the full title, The Try, The Secret to Success in Life and Career. I didn't give the full title before, so that kind of fills it out.
I think it's absolutely true. But there is a secret to success in, against life and career. And so this is way beyond being successful in business or whatever, or entertainment. This is about whatever you choose. However you choose to live your life, live it to the fullest. And I just think it's these are 12 stories of, again, ordinary people who've done extraordinary things. You wonder, well, how does somebody do this? Why don't they just give up? Mm-hmm. They don't have to quit, And but they're not superstars. They're kind of average people. You say, wow, man, how does somebody do this? How do they hang in there against what seems like insurmountable odds? And I think this is really kind of the story of America. We've always had this, what I call try. And that Doug, I some tribe as being three things: grit, guts, and heart. Mm-hmm. And that's what we call try.
How did you find the 12 people you wrote about? People you knew, or where did you get those stories from?
Well, this was the hard part. I've written 5 books now, mm-hmm. and this was the hardest book. I had to really do some homework on these to find the right people, and I think I did. And so whatever your background or interest is, whether you're young or old, there's a story in here. I promise you that your listeners are going to find somebody, probably more than one person, that I identify with them. It could be a substance abuse. It could be an athlete. It could be just great stories. I first heard this word "try" from a guy named Tom Murray. Now, if you're not a rodeo fan, you don't know who Tom Murray is. Well, Ty is king of the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
He lives in Stephenville, Texas, about 3 hours north of Austin. And this is the guy who was 7-time world champion all around the cowboy. He did it riding bulls. And he was a big fan of my first book called Cowboy Ethics. It came out in 2004. And Doug, I called Ty and said, Ty, I want to come and visit with you. He said, sure, come up to the ranch, a 3-hour drive. We sit in his living room. I said, Ty, there's a lot of great athletes in your sport. What made you different? This is a guy who's 170 pounds, maybe 6'8" at most, climbed down on 2,000-pound bulls. Somebody do this. And he's very shy. He said, Jim, he has a very funny twang. He said, Jim, when I was a little kid, my mom said, Ty, you were born with an extra supply of try. And I got a big grin. And I said, Ty, what the heck does that mean? I've never heard that expression. Doug, he wouldn't talk about it. You know why? He'd be bragging. Now, if he was an NBA player, NFL, oh, sure, I'm the man. No, these guys, Cowboys, do not brag. And so he started talking about something else or other, and I said, after about 10 minutes of listening to him, I said, Tom, I want to know about try. So Doug, he looked at me, he said, Jim, this is how he talked. He said, Jim, he said, when I was a little kid, then I looked at him. He said, Jim, he said, when I climbed on the bull, he said, I couldn't guarantee you I was going to win a gold buckle. He said, I couldn't guarantee you I was going to last 8 seconds. Doug, he poked me in the chest with his finger. I almost cried. It hurt so much I got tears in my eyes. He said, but I'll guarantee you I'm going to turn my guts out. You know what I mean? Turn my guts out. And I said, I love this guy. And by the way, your audience will understand this. He's married to Jewel, the singer. That's Jewel is his wife.
Right. Oh, sure. Okay. Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so I got the biggest kick out of him. And I said, boy, this guy exemplifies try. Book is dedicated to Ty Murray. It says, Ty, if anybody has to try, it's you. And so I said, I want to go out and find some other people. He's the only cowboy. So I found 12 people in all, 6 men and 6 women. And the only common thread, it wasn't, how old they were, education. No, all it was, they all had that elusive thing called try. And oh man, at a time when so many people, are discouraged and say, well, I don't see my future, looking very bright. This will give you the inspiration to say, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to cowboy up. I'm going to tough it out. I'm going to get that job I've been seeking. I'm going to hold on to my job, but I'm going to keep my business afloat, whatever it may be. And so it's an inspirational book that I think is going to touch a lot of people. My first book, Cowboy Ethics, came out in 2004. Would you believe, Doug, we sold 130,000 copies of Cowboy Ethics? Who would have thought? Not me. And so second book's called Cowboy Values, Recapturing What America Once Stood For. But this book addresses a question that I know many of your listeners are asking themselves, and that is, what does it take to succeed in America today? What is it? Is it brain power? Is it SAT scores? Is it family connections? What the heck is it? Well, what does it take? The answer is, I think it takes 2 things. It takes attitude, positive can-do spirit, and it also takes this thing called try. Again, it's grit, guts, and heart. Mm-hmm. And if you've got those 2 things, I think you've got a good chance of being successful in whatever way you define success. So it's not about me. What I call success, Doug, may not be what you or your listeners call success. It's not about making money. For most of us, it's about having a good life, a satisfying life. Looking back, I'm in my early 70s now. I look back on my life, and I find I get more satisfaction. There's more of a payoff for what I'm doing now. I have a foundation. I work for free. I mean, I don't, I'm not in the business for it anymore. I get more satisfaction of what I'm doing. Talking with you, for example, than I ever did in the business world.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of people say, Jim, what do you do? You retired, you play golf. I said, I'll never retire as long as my health holds up. I'm in the, quote, inspiration business. I'm trying to touch people's lives in a positive way. And I think the trial really does deliver on that.
I know you have a kind of a companion film that goes along with the book, too, right? Is that available for groups and stuff, or people can get the film?
Yep, And by the way, to make a pitch, we do a lot of work with schools, high schools, middle schools. We do a lot of work with youth groups, Boys and Girls Clubs, 4-H. It's now called FFA, Future Forms of America. And if any of your listeners say, I have a child who's kind of struggling, passive, not very goal-oriented. He's a high school kid, or maybe it's a niece or nephew, grandson, whatever. Check out the book, and maybe if you like it, maybe you want to introduce it to a teacher or principal and say, maybe we should be telling our the school kids the story that we're all, quote, entrepreneurs now. Doesn't matter if you're a teacher, doesn't matter if you're a fireman, whatever. We're all, quote, entrepreneurs. So what does that mean, entrepreneur? Well, it means that you cannot depend upon the government or anybody else to hold your hand through life. It ain't going to happen. The money's not there. You've got to do it yourself. And this is to give people encouragement, to give them help get their energy up, and say, I can do this. It's going to take try. It's going to take 110% effort, but I can do it. I will do it. And that's what we're trying to, that's the message. No matter how old you are, how young you are, we all need that extra supply of try. And this book tells you how you can develop your own supply of try so you can apply it in your daily life.
Yeah. Give out a website, Jim. People can get a hold of the book or the film or just to talk to you.
Sure. You can go to Amazon. You can go to Barnes & Noble. The book, I think, on Amazon is like $11 and maybe 50 cents. So this is not a big investment on anybody's part. And the film, I went out, Doug, and literally, it took about a year, we literally filmed the 12 people.
Oh, great.
In the book. So
interviews of them. Interviews with the people. Great.
Yeah. You can read about Tom Murray and the folks. Then you can actually watch Tom Murray and say, wow, what a guy. So school assembly can do this. You can do it in a church group. You can do it in your home. You can have a family sitting at a table and say, rather than waste time watching television or video games, you should watch this little 35-minute documentary. And then read the book as a family. And say to your kids, do you think as parents, do you think we have tried? Do you have tried? Tell me about it. And kids love it. And Doug, one last thing. The reason this is so effective with young people particularly is that there's no pressure on performance. Mm-hmm. Jim, help me out here, buddy. Well, as Tom Murray tells me, Jim, it's not about the gold bucket. And it's not about the championship ring. He said it's about being able to look in the mirror and say, if you can say to yourself, I gave it everything I had from the bottom of my guts. He said, Jim, you're a winner. You can walk down the street with pride. But it's not about the outcome. He said, you don't control the outcome. It's just that every time you sit down at a bull, he said, it's 110% effort. He said, I don't control the outcome. And I thought, wow, so all the pressure's off when you look at the world that way.
Sure. Well, Jim, I'm feeling inspired just talking to you for the last 15 minutes or so. I hope the listeners will feel the same way. The name of the book is called The Try, The Secret to Success in Life and Career. And Jim, please keep in touch with us. Let us know next project that comes out, or if you're heading down to Florida. I'd love to talk to you again.
Good. And thank you so much for your time, and please thank the listeners.